Hey guys, we are back for another Model Wise Wednesday. My apologies, I was 3 minutes late. I was trying to look halfway decent for you guys. I don't know how successful I was at that, but yes, today we're actually going to have one of my team members on, Steven Jones, who is a fashion stylist. He is a influencer. He is also a sustainable designer. He is based out of Seattle, although that's not where he's currently located, but he is based out of Seattle. So he, a few seconds, we are connecting as we speak. So we'll see how IG is acting today.
I'm here.
Hey, Steven. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well.
I'm sorry I was calling you out about being late.
No, you're good.
I was live on TikTok. I was talking about you a little bit. So I wanted to get that double feature, so I got a little TikTok. We're going to do a little live here too.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm getting it. So how have you been, first of all? Let's start with that.
I've been really busy. Just trying to stay busy and keep my head right and use this time to step my game up. But I've been good for the most part.
Well, I did a little introduction about, who you are and all that great jazz, but you are probably better at, introducing yourself than I am. So tell the people about who you are, what you do, and
I feel like I'm standing in front of the class right now. So yeah, like he said, I work. I started as a stylist. I did retail as retail merchandiser, and moved on to corporate styling, and then kind of into wardrobe styling, personal styling with Nordstrom and retailers like that. And then eventually I was able to step out of the retail zone and kind of branch out and do my own thing and get my own clients and start building my brand based on my retail history, which was kind of cool. So I run a brand, International Sad Boy, and we've been running that for about 2 years. I run it by myself, and I've had 2 fashion shows, one last year and the year before. We've done a couple pop-up shows. So that's been really exciting because it's been a long time dream to have my own brand and to be able to get my voice out there. So that's been really, really cool too. Outside of fashion, like I was saying, I do comedy and skits and all that. And it's a good outlet for me because I have so much energy and my brain is always just going. I'm like thinking of things all the time. Literally, I was sitting here today and I thought of a skit, and in the middle of that skit, I thought of another skit, and I ran off on a tangent. And so that's what it's been like in my apartment, is me standing there like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that. So I've been, that's kind of my thing. That's where I'm at.
So I'm glad you touched on your comedy. We'll jump back to the fashion side of things, but as far as like your comedy, tell people about your series, your
Okay, so I have 3 series. It's been a work in progress for sure. It's really hard to get comfortable putting yourself out there, because we live in the most critical world ever, even people that are close around you are very critical of you. So it's been definitely a learning process. I've learned a lot about myself and, kind of the things I want to talk about and things I want to joke about and how I want to express myself. So on TikTok, I have 3 mini-series, Window Chronicles, and that's based on pretty much anything that happens outside of my window. Because the view from where I'm sitting, I'm on the first floor, and I'm right above a marijuana store. So there's so much activity until midnight. And so I just started recording it and then, kind of narrating a story and then creating more and, or just telling whatever kind of story I wanted to. And so that's picked up. So I've been working on Window Chronicles. The neighborhood news is probably my favorite thing to do because it's an easy way for me when I'm by myself to get these jokes out. Because if there's one thing I hate to do, it's just let a joke just pass up and just go off in land. I'm like, man, no one was here to see that joke. What? No one heard that joke? So then I started recording things, and I'm like, then later on, even years later, some of the things I post are from years ago. Like I'll see this in my phone. I'm like, oh my god, this totally reminds me of this movie or this song, and yeah, so that's been it's been really fun reporting the fake news to everyone. I've gotten a good response from it. So the neighborhood news is the second thing, and then I just started a character called Ratchet Bradshaw based on Sex and the City. I grew up on Sex and the City. My mom introduced me to the show, so I just love the show. I still watch it today. I was watching it yesterday, but I brought this character up because while I was watching the show, there were things that the character that Carrie would do that I would just think, man, I wish she would do the opposite. Or like, I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't tell him. Like, don't tell him. Just keep this lie going. And then later on, tell him when you guys are married and you have kids and then you ruin your marriage. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's fine. Just wait. So Ratchet Bradshaw is a character that I've been developing. So yeah, those three things, and then I put them on YouTube as well. The episodes on YouTube are much longer, and there's a lot of commentary, and it's a lot of my opinion, and a lot of old jokes and obscure references that I hope people get. But it's worked out so far. So yeah, that's what's on my TikTok.
If someone asked earlier, like, have you ever been caught chronicling? I guess in front of the window.
Okay, I ask this every day. Every day. I go live on TikTok every day, and everyone's like, don't people see you? Don't they hear you? For the most part, I'm going to give you a little secret, though. I voice over everything. So nothing is ever really in that moment. I've gone back and done a voiceover and edited it so it sounds like I was there. But I would never be just standing behind a person, like, recording them and talking. Just recording. A lot of the videos too, like, I don't know. I got called a mean girl the other day, which I didn't appreciate because it's just an innocent, a little innocent fun. I try to keep it pretty lighthearted, and I haven't. Actually, I've gotten caught a couple times, but most of the people that I get caught by, I'm like, they'll be fine. I'm really just recording outside the activities outside of my apartment. So,
right.
You know, we're not in LA. It's not
That is super funny. We're gonna jump back onto the fashion side of things. So, tell us a little bit more about your brand. It is obviously a sustainable brand. Like, how did you come up with the idea, and what was your thought process behind it?
So, I just remember being a teenager and always wanting to have everything that everyone else had. I wanted to have, like, the coolest clothes. Like, everyone had Adidas. I had K-Swiss. Like, everyone had all the coolest things. Everyone had Doc Martens. I had, like, Dickies. Like, I'm like, why? So I always wanted to make it personal to me. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't the exact thing that I wanted to make it like, oh, well, I mean, you guys have that, but I have this one thing that's individual to me and personalized for me. So I started doing that when I was younger, painting shoes, and really out of necessity and not being able to just go buy whatever I wanted. So when I got older, I just started collecting things, and I really I hate getting rid of clothes. Right. And if I can reuse it, if we can cut it, bleach it, sew it to something else, if we can reuse this again, then it's a great article of clothing. And that's how I feel about everything that I buy when I'm shopping. I'm like, can I reuse this though? Or is this just something that is just gonna, when it's done, and I have to throw it away? I've purchased a lot of pieces like that, but I don't like to. So I started working on, I've always just drawn tons and tons of designs. And then when I got older, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because I haven't been working on the brand for that long, 3 or 4 years ago, I just decided to start, I painted a pair of Vans, I think, for the very first time. And someone was like, oh, those are so cool. And so then I just started to do it more and more and more. And now the brand has become a lot of things that I handpick that are vintage, that have personal value to me, or that have meant something to someone else, and making them mean something more and making them more of an art piece. along with having printed merchandise and, you know, the staple pieces and beanies and hats and sweatshirts and denim. So that's like the more of the romantic side of my brand. Is the artsy side is me just painting and getting really heavy into giving something life again and giving it a new life, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Yeah. So that's where the brand's at so far. So like I said, we did the 2 fashion shows. I did a couple pop-up shows when we first started. And right now, you know, as we know, we're trying to work with different brands and collab more to get some more production out during coronavirus. So, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Rona, she's rude and nasty, but you know, like
we're still working. We're moving. We're making things happen, for sure. For sure.
I'm actually, you know, like, despite everything that's going on, I'm really excited about this time period because it has given us so much time to connect with other people.
Yeah.
And as you know, like, I'm a connector myself, and so I love connecting with other individuals, which is crazy because I don't really do it in person per se like that. Like, I have friends that are like more.
Oh, I feel you. I'm like, get away from me. You're not my friend, and I don't feel you. Text me first.
I'm more like socially, like through social media, like I connect really well with people and across like the world and all of that. And I'm, you know, really big for picking up a phone and talking to people and making connections that way. So I feel like this is like a really great, amazing time, especially for people who are creative, who are entrepreneurs, who have any idea that you've ever wanted to do.
Now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it. And I can't stress that enough. I feel like my friends, I'm that annoying friend that only talks about like working on things. I'm like, we got to work on this and we have to make it better. And then we're going to do this. And guess what? Numbers are up today. I'm like, once I found out that we were going to be home, you know, I was working on the show for Dallas, which was like, I was so excited, and we had like a lot of COVID talk before that, like weeks before that was supposed to happen, like 3 weeks before, and I was like, well, I can't get sick, gotta stay home. So I was already at home, like 2 weeks before March 18th, you know, March 5th, I was at home, staying in the house, painting, trying to make sure my outfits were legit, you know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, when you called and told me that, I was like, oh, but work didn't stop there still, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so now I just have that collection. Now I have to do something else, so.
Yeah, cool. What I love about like our team, like at the F State, is like we are all very solution oriented. So even when things like, you know, change, like we're able to, you know, the key word of the season is pivot. Like we are able to pivot really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's key with every single member of our team. It's like we pivot and we're like, okay, you know, this is life. It happens. But what can we do from here? And
besides cry for 5 minutes. And,
right.
Like, I mean, we all need a good cry every day.
Right.
Okay, but for real, yeah.
Someone asked, has either of us like reconnected with people from our past? I will say that yes and no. There are some people who I have reconnected with from my past. Either they reached out or I had something going on and I reached out to them, and so we, you know, we're kind of in the work assisting each other.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who have reached out and I just kind of, you know, pick up the phone because it was one of those things where, you know, in the, not that it's to say that we're really big time right now, but it's like you didn't care then, and now people see all these things going on, and who we're connected with, and now they're like, oh, they're trying to jump on the bandwagon, and I've just never been with the bandwagon, you know, supporters, me personally. Like, I mean, you can support, and I appreciate it, but I'm not going to
We can't put that time and energy back into that, like, right. And I've been in that situation. I know when we first started working together, I told you I was like in a really bad situation. I had a bunch of people around me that were literally just taking, and right. My energy was just spent, and I wasn't focused on what I needed to do anymore, and I had to get rid of those people. And then right. Now I feel like, not to say that everything's like great or anything, but I feel like I have a lot of people hitting me up and wanting to just like, oh, I want to squash this, I want to squash that. And some people, yes, things can be squashed. And right. One of my friends said, and we were much younger when she said this, she said, we're getting older and we don't have time to wait around for people to be good to us. And I really don't have time to, like, I can't wait. I got other things to do. So if you're going to do this, I'm going to leave you here and let you deal with that. And then I'm going to go on and, you know, do my other stuff. And that's honestly worked for me. I don't mind being at home by myself on the weekend. I don't mind. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, it's chill. I got work to do, you know? And when you really put the time into something, you're definitely going to see results. It may not be always great and you are absolutely going to get kicked down, but yeah, the good thing is just getting back up, obviously.
Right. And I think it's so important too. Like, I think that the common theme of what we all share is like, one, we believe heavily, highly and strongly in not only systems and processes, but in people, and really sharing value with people. Yeah. So I think for us as creatives, as artists, that when people don't share the same value, we just don't put that much energy into it. It's like, okay, you don't see it, it's okay. Like, you know, like,
I literally am like, oh,
right.
You don't see it? Okay, well.
What's been one of the most difficult challenges for you, and how have you overcome that particular challenge?
You know, being confident with what you produce as a creator is really important. And I've struggled with just making things that I've created, pictures that I've posted, videos that I've made, feeling 100% confident and not feeling like I have to send this to another person to get approval. I have to make sure that this is this. I'm always in my own head. And sometimes, like in merchandising, as you come from, you have to build things and be done with it and walk away. And because you can spend hours building something, you can spend, you know what I mean, 2 days building a room. So that's one thing I've struggled with, is just making sure not only that I'm happy with what I'm putting out, but I'm confident in that I actually like what I'm putting out and that it's not for someone else.
Right. That's so important.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because that's something that I struggle with too. Because I'm like, I will plan, but at some point in time, like, you actually have to get to work and do the process of the work.
Yeah.
So just like,
and literally, I've like made clips or made things, and I go through and I watch it. And my friends will be like, how many times are you going to watch that? As many times as it takes. Right. For me to decide that I hate it, okay? Like, I'm like...
Now I'm going to watch it again.
No, it's horrible. You know what I mean? I hate it. And it doesn't matter how much time I've spent on it. I need to, like, love it. And I'll tell my friends, too, if they send me pictures and they're like, what do you think of this picture? I'm like, I don't love it. I love you. I always say, I love you. So I love you, but this isn't the best of you. And I wish one of my friends would chime in and say, yo, he's definitely said, this isn't the best you. I know the best you, and that's not the one. Okay? Love you, though. You know? So sometimes we really have to look at ourselves, too, and just, I think it's always a struggle, even no matter what age you're at, it'll be a struggle. And, yeah, just try to find confidence in what you're doing and really understand why you're doing it too, and I think that'll help build confidence.
Yeah, I will definitely say that at year 37 for me, I have definitely stepped into the confidence bracket. I've had a lot of different back history and things and gunk and life stories to get through. But now I'm pretty confident in my abilities, and I'm kind of like, you know what? it really doesn't matter if people rock with me or not. Like, I know who I am, and I'm confident. And, you know, the people that are for me, and the people that are not are not, and that's okay too. So
yeah, no, definitely not everyone. That's what I have to think about too, because with when it comes to like TikTok and things, listen, I'll be up in the comments, okay? So listen, if you guys have something to say in the comments, I'll be up in the comments. I'm reading. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning to look at the comments. How much I'm listening. You're not about to come at me like that, okay? So I have to, you're not about to come at me like that, okay? Wait, hold up, okay? So I've been like so I get into that mode of like I'll start reading these comments of people. I'm like, let me stop reading the comments because people will say anything. Right. You know what I mean? Right, they literally will say anything. I see Amazon Prime outside, and I'm waiting for my gimbal to get here. And Ezra, it better show up today because I have a complaint or three to give. So I'm not kidding. I ordered masks for my brand, so I was gonna have masks made, and I ordered them 3 weeks ago. And they talking about they got lost in the mail. Where did you do that at? At Amazon. I said Amazon's here. Amazon's her. It's her.
No, sir.
So yeah. Anyways, that's that.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. I was shooting the questions off my head, and now I got all.
I love to distract you. It is what I do. Netflix, where you at? Where's my special?
Right, that part. Actually, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that.
Oh, let's talk.
Steven has these three series, which as you can see, he's a funny guy. And so we are working to get these series on somebody's network. There's a couple of, ideas that have been thrown around. Obviously, Netflix. Hey, if you're out there, if anyone that is connected to Netflix, if you're out there, we're going to speak this into existence. Yes. But it's going to happen. He will definitely be on television. So whoever the lucky network is, you let us know. Raise your hand, stand up. You guys can contact us at culture@theestatemag.com. But yeah, it's going to happen. So
it's going to happen.
We're working on that.
Listen, I'm out here working me. And I know, Ezra, if there's one thing I know, we talk about this a lot, working hard and not saying anything for it. And I know a lot of artists out there, a lot of people that I'm in close contact with will do jobs and work, and we're working for all these years, and nothing comes of it what they seem, or what it seems, and then something does. Right. So I'm just saying, you got to keep going and keep working and put it out there. Put that energy out there.
Right. And I said definitely, build your connections, like your network. Yeah. And relationships, and that's why I'm a proponent of people and relationships, because it all starts with that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm an artist, and they say, I'm a quote unquote starving artist, which we'll get into that subject in a minute, because I don't think we should be an artist and starving at any point in time in life. But yeah, we'll come back to that. One, you have to build your network, because your network is your net worth, and building relationships with good people who believe in you, who trust in your vision of who you are, as not only as your work ethic and your ideal brand of what you're trying to do, but you as a person, that they're bought in and invested into you as an individual. And you got to make sure that value is returned reciprocally. So making sure that you're giving value, that they're giving value, and that it's not a, take, where you're feeling drained all the time and where people are taking things from you. Make sure that you're pouring back into other people and really, committed to having good relationships. Good relationships.
Exactly. I think, too, it's good that you said that, because I got to that point in my head where I wanted to build more relationships in a positive way and be known for being connected in a positive way, not in some negative connotation, not just as a partier, as this or as that, but building relationships and helping other people achieve, their goals too, is a really good feeling. And it's really dope to build a network and to just see it thrive. So I'm glad to be a part.
Yeah. Super excited. So what is the best thing about where you are from?
So I'm from Savannah, Georgia originally.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in Washington for 20 plus years. So, I mean, Savannah's great. I go to visit like every couple of months. It's very warm. I go down there and the food is great. My whole family is down there. So that's great. And then also there's like a historic side to Savannah. You know how the South is. So
right.
So there's a historic side to Savannah that's beautiful, and I am gonna die of laughter. It's beautiful, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's like retirement kind of town. A great thing about Washington. I'm sorry, I heard something else. I'm sorry. A great thing about Washington, especially Seattle, it's really diverse, and a lot of people who are from here sometimes can be kind of like finicky about it. Like they love new people, but they also don't want new people to live here. But they're like, everyone's welcome, but don't live here or work for a big corporation, which is Amazon's here, Microsoft's here. You know what I mean? Google's here. We have a ton of things here. So it's a good space to grow, like, it's a good space to grow and to meet a lot of different people. And I have a lot of different types of friends and am connected with so many different people, which is really cool because I have a lot of people are like, how do you know each other? How do you know each other? I personally, it's my pet peeve. I hate the question, how do you know each other? Because what if the answer is awkward? Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be completely awkward. So I'm like, I know everybody. We're friends. So, we're just friends. We used to date. It's really diverse, and you can get to know a lot of different cultures and things here in Seattle.
Nice. Let's see. You already told us about that. So describe your personal style in 3 words.
Man, I wish my friend was here. I was just thinking about my friend Talia, and I just know that she would have something hella to say. Describe my style in 3 words. Not hella basic. It's not like I would say this thing about, I always think whenever I post on Instagram, like, what are people thinking about my posts? Because I'll post 3 that are like one style, 3 that are completely different style, and then 3 that like just all the outfits are completely different. I think it's really good to have a range, and I think that getting dressed is so fun. And when I was growing up, I had more of a structured way that I needed to dress. You know, we had schools that had uniforms. I went to church, and so it was very structured. And so getting out of that, I wouldn't say like, oh, I dress all grunge or I dress all streetwear, or you know what I mean?
Right. It's like
sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick, you know? It depends on how I feel. And for the most part, outfits never come together like in my head. I'll walk to my rack and just whatever jumps out at the moment, I'm like, jumps out. I'm like, okay, so let's take this blazer, but it's 80 degrees outside. So how can we make this blazer not hot? Let's put a crop top under it and some high-waist jeans and a tall boot, and let's rock and roll it out. I will say that every time I get dressed, I want to feel like rock star, baby, you know?
Right.
I want to feel like I'm going somewhere. Not I just threw something on. Even if it's sweats, I want to, have a whole thing. I think you should have a feel.
It's so funny, too, because, like, every time I every time I talk to you, like I forget like how much our backgrounds are like very similar.
Yeah.
You know, because you mentioned, you know, the church aspect. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that as a kid too, like being nerdy, you know, church choir board, quote unquote. And, you know, all the cool kids were wearing all these, you know, clothes and had all these, you know, designer brands, and I didn't know what they were. I just knew everyone else had them, and I couldn't afford them. So I was like,
yo, listen, I had dreams about designer clothes. No joke. I cannot tell you how many times I had a dream about an Air Force One or an Abercrombie scarf that everybody had at school that I didn't have.
Right.
Okay? I wanted the Abercrombie scarf. I had a dream. I woke up, no lie, I had a dream. Yo, I had this Abercrombie scarf. I was the coolest kid at school that day. And then I woke up, and guess what? That was a damn dream. It was not no real life. And I didn't have no Air Force Ones, and I didn't have no Abercrombie scarf.
Yeah,
but I made it out.
I sort of kind of lucked out on the Abercrombie trend because like my one of my friends introduced me to Abercrombie because he was like a big fan and he was, you know, psychotic. He's actually like one of like basically like a brother to me. His name is Jason Jacobs. Shout out Jason if you're out there listening or will listen at some point in time. So he is amazing and like introduced me to Abercrombie and Fitch. He could afford it, I could not. And so he introduced me to that, and I eventually ended up working for the brand. So that's how I ended up, you know, being.
Yeah, I worked at Hollister.
So, I worked at
Hollister. Those were the days.
Yeah,
at the time.
But that's how I kind of got introduced into the whole retail world. And that's actually my first merchandising gig was at Hollister. And they're like, oh, we're going to have you doing floor sets, blah, blah, blah. I always came late. So. So you were on time, basically. Like, you were on time.
I always came late, so that was that.
LA or New York, and why?
You know I can't even answer that question. Come on, LA or New York? Like, a house in both, more time in New York than LA.
Okay. And then, what music are you currently listening to, like, right now at the moment? Is there anything, like, that you're...
I am listening to... Everyone's going to think I'm just, like, hella gassing, but I'm not. I stay listening to Paris Alexa. You know that.
Yeah, she's great. She's got...
I know. Her new album just came out too real. You know, just guys pop that up in there. Little press play, Paris Alexa, if you know, on a swoop-de-doop, you know. But I'm listening to Paris Alexa. I listen to a lot of... I'm like completely a Cancer and like nostalgic and listen to a lot of music from 2005, The Killers, and...
I love them.
Yeah, just everything that meant something to me back then is very much still in my music playlist. I kind of rock out to System of a Down. I've been doing that pretty lately, and Doja Cat, Gucci Mane, obviously, Future. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Let's see. So who is someone that you've listened to that we might not have heard of?
My friend. Oh, gosh. This is a thing. I'm about to get in trouble. Okay, so, because, come on, you know I know more than one. Come on now. I'm like, so, I've listened to a song I really love is by Nikita Sativa. It's called Smoke One With My Boo. That's my cut. That's my cut. And Tessa Talks, I've been listening to her a lot. I know you know about her music too.
Yes.
I've been listening to, who else? Someone else that you wouldn't know. My friend Brandon Shoup. If you look him up, he's on all... All of them are actually all on, like, Tidal on every platform. So Brandon Shoup, spelled how it sounds, and then Nikita Sativa and Tessa Talks.
Okay.
That's what I got. Yeah.
What is your definition of success? What is success to you?
It's so funny that you say that, because I got on my soapbox multiple times. What is successful soapbox? But I try personally. When I see things, I'm like, want. Like, I know what I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've wanted these things, these material things forever. And so they also don't mean anything to me. I think having a lot of material things is really great and it's really cool. It is definitely a nod to your success. But accomplishing your goals, and even if you haven't made all the money yet, I still think, that's successful. I can check things off my list. Even though they haven't made me a millionaire, I've done them, and I've, conquered my fears and made decisions and made hard decisions and organized things and put things together. So you really have to build that sense of accomplishment in yourself. And that's what I think success is.
I love that answer because I believe strongly in that too. Because I think
it's on my hand.
I think so. I think so many times that people get caught up in the material things. So don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, we need money to live. We need money to survive. We need money to do things. Like,
yes.
It's important. It helps us help other people. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that money is the root of all evil, because it is certainly not.
No, and I like nice things. Nice things.
It's certainly not.
Not mediocre. Good.
Right. But I think that the difference is whether or not you put your entire focus on that money, and really making that like your everything, end all be all, versus putting your placement in, either your spirituality or other people, really.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I always personally put value in people, because if you think about money and, like, literally think about it, money is a piece of paper which came from a tree, which literally has no value unless a human being says that it has value. Yeah. That's why I place value in human beings, because at the end of the day, if someone, comes up and is like, this has no value, then it doesn't. And that's why there are some people in this world who will do anything for $1 million, and some people, it's like you can, throw $1 million and it's still, they're not moved by
What's
it.
$1 million?
Right. It's like, they're not moved by it. Because to them, it holds no value and it holds no power over them. And so that's why I always try to share, value with people and place importance on, people, because at the end of the day, my true belief is that people truly, really, really, really do matter.
Yes.
So I try to live and lead with that. What do you think has made you so successful thus far?
I think building a strong network of people has helped me be successful, for sure.
We're going to pin that for 1 second. People, you say?
People. Bing. I have made a lot of great connections. I've also been a great connection to people.
Right.
And that's really important, is not, like you said before, is not just taking, is you should have something to offer, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a material thing.
Right.
But being able to connect with people and build a network of people to get something done is... Oh, whoa! It's super crucial. I got a phone call. I'm popping. Every device started ringing. I'm like, whoa, chill. First off, anybody who called me, you know that you're supposed to be watching this. So, anyways, building a network is so important because, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of things that I've done. You know what I mean? People hit me up because, like, oh, I saw you do this and I saw you do that and I thought you would be great doing this. But if you had never done that thing before, if you had never showed up to this event or done this thing for this person, who knows? It's really important to also show up and be present. If you're going to be present in someone's life and in their business and in their progress, be present, be there. Don't make plans that fall through all the time. Don't flake out. People, to me, I was just telling my friend yesterday, he wanted to do some skits, and I'm like, really, nobody has asked me to do skits. No one right? No one really has asked me to do skits. And so I've just been like, okay, and that's another confidence thing too, is just like, well, no one's asked me. Does that mean that these suck? Or does that mean, that they're too afraid to ask me? So this person asked me, and I'm like, yo, if you want to do this, I'm not playing around. We got the equipment. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's get this done. Really motivating people and letting them know that, success and riches and things, they don't just come from you saying, let's do it tomorrow. And I have to tell myself that every day. You can't just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll make this video tomorrow. Oh, I'll do this tomorrow. I'll paint this tomorrow. You really have to keep your word and do what you say you're going to do and stick to your plan.
Love that. Yeah. Speaking of plans, how important do you feel it is to have a plan and have not only just an idea, because a lot of people have big ideas, and I think that those are great and amazing because people definitely pay for ideas. But how important is it to have a plan in order to get those ideas completed?
As a person with severe ADD, if you've ever worked with me, I have insane ADD. I have to plan things out, and it is still very hard. Even today, I really wanted to write this list of things out that I need to do before I talked to you. And it was the hardest thing. I'm being 100% honest with you. It was the hardest thing I've had to do was write down, even in my iPad, to make a list of what I needed to do and to plan it out. I don't know if it was intimidation of a list, if it was pressure, but I couldn't get it done. So Did I get done the things that I needed to get done? No. Why? Because I didn't put it down in a list. And so I'm learning that myself. It is very hard to plan things out and stick to them. But if you do, then it'll be done.
Right. You get
My mom always says, I say this to people all the time, plan your work and work your plan. And